Okay, so what is Logic Pro X? First of all, let's address this name, Logic Pro X, because I'm probably going to start calling it Logic. This is a program that was called Logic for years and years and years and years, and then eventually there was a light version of it called, like, it might have been called Logic Lite or Logic Intro or something like that. So then they had to separate it and have one called Logic Lite and one called Logic Pro. I think it was Logic Studio. Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's gone now. So we have Logic Pro. And then a couple years ago, there was a big kind of reboot of it where they kind of redid a lot of how it works. And then it got the X. So Logic Pro X. Logic started off as a program owned by another company that Apple bought. So it wasn't a Mac only program back then, I don't think. But once Apple bought it, they of course made it Apple only. So it would only run on a Mac. So it's owned by Apple and it's maintained by Apple, and they maintain it pretty well. If you've worked with GarageBand before, that's kind of what the Logic Studio or Logic Lite became. So you'll find a lot of similarities between GarageBand and Logic because really the way it works now is Logic Pro is an advanced version of GarageBand. It's GarageBand Pro is what it kind of should be called. But because it was inherited from this other company, it's called Logic Pro. I am probably going to call it Logic. So let's just get used to calling it Logic. Now, what is it? It is a professional DAW application. That's DAW. That stands for Digital Audio Workstation. What that means is that it is a platform for us to arrange and manipulate audio, sound. Let's just say sound, because audio is a bit of a confusing term because there's two different kinds of sound that we can work with in Logic and in just about any of the DAW applications. There are others. And that is audio and MIDI. MIDI gets converted into sound. We'll talk about how MIDI works shortly. Don't worry. We'll cover it in this class. But what it means is, so I've just loaded up here one of the default electronic tracks in Logic. So they start you off with a beat and then you can create stuff. So this is what it sounds like right out of the box. Okay, so what we're seeing here are waveforms. And you can kind of hear what they're doing, right? You can hear that these little ticks here are quiet. These are louder. These bigger ones, right? Right, so I can move stuff around. I can put a gap here. There's going to be a space there if I do that. I can overlap these to happen at the same time, although that turns it into a MIDI track, which is something we'll talk about soon. I can add effects to this. I can change the way it sounds. I can make it slower. I can make it faster. I can make it sound like it's in a cave. I can do all kinds of different stuff. And that's what any of the DAW programs do, the digital audio workstation programs. They let you move things around in time, arrange, and manipulate sound. So Logic is used for a lot of applications. I see a lot of film people working with Logic, and there's a good reason for that. I see people that work in gaming working in Logic a little bit. And I see a lot of just electronic producers working in Logic a bit. It kind of goes across the board. So in the next video, I want to talk quickly about some of the other DAW applications and what kind of sets Logic apart. So let's jump to that now.